Today's today's topic is simplifying the EPR 2026. So we are delighted to have Sarika ma'am, an expert who has 16 years of experience in the field of waste management and sustainability, and currently she is working with Dalmia as a business head for green fuels. So, in today's topic, we will discuss about the EPR compliances and we will what are the documents and what are the other things that are required and how this will enable for the circular economy. Yeah, over to you.
Hi, thank you, Aman, for the introduction. You want me to start now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, good evening, everyone, and it's pleasure being with you all today. And I look forward to next 1 hour of interactive session where we all can share thoughts and learnings. So, looking forward to this, and I would want it to be a very interactive session where you could please feel free to ask the questions. I'll just start with my presentation and just put the slides. Hope my presentation is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, as we all know, the extended producer's responsibility, now that it is an established fact, the reality, and something that all obligated entities are in a way well versed with it, and most of the time the effective implementation of extended producers responsibility becomes challenging for the organization. So now that the rules and the framework is well understood, sometimes how do we implement it in the right way becomes a little difficult. And most of the time the EPR challenge is not pertaining to the regulation itself, but because of the execution gaps and the missing data. So today we would like to focus on what actually works on ground and how digital tracking can turn EPR as a framework from a compliance burden into a manageable system for all the workplaces. So this is about the framework. EPR comes across as one of the most promising framework that our country has seen. So we see that there is the Central Pollution Control Board, which is the nodal authority for compliance and monitoring, and then there are two types of obligated entities. So the producers, importers, and brand owners, which are the entities who manufacture the plastic packaging and sell their products in any sort of packaging. And so it's not about only plastic EPR for all the EPRs. And then the other entity is about the recycler and the plastic waste processors. So plastic waste processors are the entities who are recycling, who are under waste to energy, who the cement plants who are co-processing the waste to energy for electricity production. So these are the two obligated agencies. And then there are waste management agencies who play a pivotal role while being a linkage between all these. So they help organizations in right management of the data and help them to get the EPR credits from the credible sources and help them in their compliance journeys. As this is a new system which is still evolving, we've seen a number of amendments and notifications already pertaining to EPR. WMAs are the ones which are helping organizations to navigate through this evolving system. So let us just talk about how organizations, I think we can directly come to the execution. We all have a fair understanding of what EPR requires and what is the framework, what are the statutory norms, considering if someone needs a clarification, we can discuss. Otherwise, we can just go on to how organizations actually operationalize EPR. So after a brand owner or a producer or importer is registered on the CPCB EPR portal, they will be required to share the data on the portal with respect to their production, their sale, how much they have manufactured, and based on that, the system will automatically calculate their EPR obligation in terms of the quantity required, whichever EPR that falls, if it is plastic or batteries. So the mandate will be defined on the portal while they enter the data. Then the organizations would look for partners who are registered again as PWPs on the CPCB EPR portals. They would look for partners and recovery partners who can help them strengthen their EPR roadmap as per the company's defined framework, what they would want to go ahead with. And then there is a stakeholder coordination, because EPR primarily is a ULB based model, urban local body based model, where we work with the municipal organizations and the similar bodies who collect the overall waste. And from these waste, where various components are segregated and then they are channelized to the respective end users or disposal partners. So there is a so if we look at the entire value chain of the waste, urban body is also important stakeholder. So the industry, the organizations, the corporates would need waste management to also, and as more as they need the partners, they also have the urban local bodies as an important stakeholder from where the waste collection actually begins. And then once the waste is collected and it is being disposed and the credits are received, there is this annual filing, wherein after receiving of the credits, the annual returns have to be filed. So this is an overall process. But if we talk about the EPR portal, there are so different entities have somewhat variations in their respective portals and the logins. So based on whether it is a producer, or it is a cement company, or if it is a plastic recycler, there are certain differences in the kind of data that they need to upload on the system to be able to generate the right quantity of credits. Now I would just talk from the perspective of entity which is looking for credits, which is looking for their EPR compliance management. So how they can ensure that they are doing it in a compliant manner, and how they can ensure that the credits that they receive will help them suffice to the cater to the regulation. So first thing is to check on the portal. The portal has the details of all the registered plastic waste, all the registered waste processors. So the first thing is that any organization can do is to look up on the portal. So portal, they'll be able to see it in the public domain, who all are the registered entities, what are their capacities, what are the kind of credits that they are holding, which is the first point. Then there has to be a system in place to ensure if the credits, whatever they are going to take from any specific company, how authentic it could be. So what could be the checks in that process? So first thing is to check is, of course, that the entity should be registered on the EPR portal. And this registration should also be a valid registration. It shouldn't have been expired. So first basic minimal check is to look for the registration on the CPCB portal. Then the companies must look for their consents, their consent to operate, their PWP registrations certificate, the logistics certificate, and these are the basic mandatory documents to have a check. And then when it comes to taking credit, so I will take some example. I take example of plastic credits. So we need to ensure that the traceability documents are in place. Now when we talk about traceability would mean right from the start point, right from the source of collection of plastics till its till its end of life, till its disposal, or till it is recycled. So this entire value chain has to be traceable. Now, how it can be traceable? So the first document is where the waste is picked, and this traceability will also help and ensure that the waste is actually, there has been actual movement of the plastics or the batteries, because we are all aware that there have been a lot of instances where the CPCB has audited and found out many fake certificates. So the traceability documents can play a very crucial role in ensuring that the actual disposal has happened. So the traceability documents will include the transport documents, which are usually the delivery challan, the lorry receipt, the weighbridge slips of the source, the weighbridge slips of the end of life disposal points. So that will ensure. And then so if you all remember, before this digital platform had come up for EPR, there was an offline system of EPR credit, EPR certificate transfer. That time we didn't call it credits, but the EPR certificate transfers, wherein the municipal organizations used to endorse a particular waste movement, that which used to be a very authentic way of ensuring. So now that after the digital platform is alive, this onus primarily lies on the CPCB, because only the credible service providers who have been audited by CPCB will be able to get registered. But still, it is the responsibility of the organizations to check for this accountability, to be double sure on this. So once these documentations are in place, it is good if the visits to these disposal facilities or the recycling facilities are done, to ensure that there is that what is visible on the paper is actually there on the ground. The kind of credits which an entity is selling should not be more than their given capacity or given consent. So these things can be validated with a site visit to the disposal facility. So I would like to go with an example of plastic EPR, for example. So this is a ULB based model, where first thing is that municipal organization collects the waste and segregates the waste. So segregation happens in the material recovery facilities. Then the waste is, so once the municipal waste is collected and it is segregated between wet and dry, the dry fraction of waste will primarily contain all kinds of recyclables, non-recyclables, low-value plastics. So this segregation happens, and the recyclables are channelized to the recycling partners, and the non-recyclables are channelized to the end-of-life disposal. So when after the collection and the transportation, then the entire municipal waste is being addressed through processing and treatment. So wet waste is usually going for composting, biomethanation, and the dry and the all the recyclable waste like e-waste is going to the e-waste recycling facilities, and the non-recyclable plastics wastes and multi-layer plastics, low value plastics, are going to the waste to energy plants or the cement factories. So after the recycling and the entire resource recovery happens, then the registered entities will be able to generate the EPR credits on that. And all the remaining waste which doesn't get recycled is also gone for end of life disposal. So these are the approaches, these are the disposal options. So material recovery facility, every city, every town has a material recovery facility where the municipal waste is coming and getting sorted, and then it is being channelized to the recycling or end of life disposal partners. Now, to do this, we have a digital platform where all the PIBOs and PWPs are registered, and all the data needs to be entered. So in case of a plastic waste processor, they need to first enter the procurement data, then they need to enter the production data, and then they need to enter all the sales data along with the sales invoices, GST details, and after that only they will be able to generate the EPR credits. So this is broadly the process. And So the very critical part of this entire dynamics is the measurement, reporting, and verification on this. So quantification of plastic introduced by the PIBOs in the market through sale is done on is already captured in the portal, and against which the company has to procure the credits, and once they submit it in the portal, they will be able to offset their entire obligation and file the annual returns. So another thing which is critical for the organizations to have a check on, that they need to file the returns within the stipulated time frame, and there have to be, and the PIBOs have to submit their quarterly and annual compliance reports on the portal. So while we see that MRV is the digital intervention is very critical to manage this huge data set. One thing we see, while we talked about traceability, traceability is the first point and the most important point. So now we have a lot of innovative new interventions while we can ensure the traceability. So first thing is QR barcode tracking. So the products can have the barcode which can help in tracking this entire life cycle of this. Then we have geotagging and the GPS tracking also. So all the transportation also which is happening with any kind of wastes, this is also happening with the GPS tagged vehicles, so that there is entire traceability can be ensured. And then there are a lot of tools and applications available for for while we go for our regular ESG roadmap, and we use a lot of tools and applications also available for the EPR compliance as well, so which can help organizations achieve the EPR compliance. So this is just a framework that I've talked about, and we can now interact and through questions discuss more in detail on how these framework can be strengthened and what initiatives we can take on this.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am, for the presentation. So there is one question, ma'am, from Madhvi. So she's asking why PIVs are not buying recycled plastic from recyclers, as many of the facilities are severely constrained and on the verge of closure, as we have been witnessing across the globe. Why EPR credits are awarded if PIV is still restored to buy virgin plastic pellets?
Recycling. This is with respect to the shortage of recycling credits, right? If I understood the question correctly.
Recycling content, I think, Madhvi, can
The
you?
use of recycled content in the packaging,
Yes.
so, which is going to be a mandate from the next year, right?
Yes.
Okay, yes. This is one of the requisites which will become a mandate from the next financial year, there that the plastic packaging has to have some percentage of recycled content. It begins from 10% and goes up to 20% in the subsequent year.
Yes.
So, but there has been a lot of representation by various industrial associations to the CPCB that in certain cases this is not viable. For example, I would take an example of my industry, the cement industry. The cement bags which are there, if we use the recycled content, we will not be able to get the desired strength, because the cement, as you know, has to pass through different geographies, seasonalities. The desired strength will not be there, and this is also in in opposition to the BIS norms which are fixed for these bags, for PP bags. Similarly, a lot of industry, when depending on the industry usage, the products use, the this cannot be implemented as of now for all kinds of plastic packaging. So use of recycled contents, it's still questionable, it is still at discussion mode at the CPCB. And while there has been various rounds of discussion on this, what we have been communicated that this is still under discussion, and we might have a new amendment or a notification or a guideline pertaining to that. But if you talk about this requirement, there is a lot of R&D which is going on, and which is also required to be able to have this kind of packaging available across products and requirements.
Right, ma'am. So there is one question, ma'am, that currently is a very hot topic. The government is fixing the minimum and maximum price for the EPR, right? And they now introduced on the even on electronic waste portal and in tire waste portal, they are mandated, right? Minimum price this has been given, and you have to do. How this will help to recycling industries?
Yes. So I think for any model to be successful, for any business model to be scalable and sustainable, floor pricing is something which is very, very important. So if we look at the recycling industry, if we look at, so unless there is a fixed pricing, EPR, we have seen that their EPR has been very, very dynamic in that sense. If we talk about plastic, EPR started with some 12 rupees per kg. Now it is as low as it's gone
Yes.
to what? I mean, there is no standardization. The prices are such that EPR is not even possible at that pricing. So it is very, very critical to have the floor pricing. If we don't have this minimum and maximum, we usually have in the businesses, they just go with L1, and then there is no control over the process. So where it is mandated, we are able to see more genuine work, more impact actually happening on the ground. Where it is given in the guideline, but still not implemented, we see that we don't see that kind of an impact which is intended with the EPR rules. So I think floor pricing is mandatory. It is very, very important and crucial to make EPR as a framework as a success.
Okay. So, ma'am, I also want to highlight the circular economy and how EPR is enabling circular economy.
Yeah, so thank you for asking this, Aman. This is very, very critical that EPR. So, as a policy framework, policy always holds a very, very important role in defining success or failure of any kind of model, right? So, EPR as a framework is very important to strengthen the circular economy models for all kinds of businesses, because of the EPR, now the companies would look for improvising their design. So it will give opportunity to incentivize the redesigning of the products. It will also foster the recycling infrastructure in the company. It will also enable the business models to be evolved with the circular economy. So for example, eco design, when companies will now look for designing such products which are more durable, which are more sturdy, which so that they don't have to manage the end of life for the product. So they will definitely, it leads to companies thinking in that direction. Then because of the EPR, now the currently we don't have enough recycling infrastructure in the country. Now EPR will give room for a lot of in-house recycling infrastructure development. So our country will see twice the kind of recycling capacity it had 2 years back in another 5 years. So it's only because of the EPR and the EPR funds which are there. So EPR funding, companies, whatever they are spending on buying the EPR credit, this EPR funding can can actually facilitate a lot of waste being managed in the right way. Now, because fund, the municipal waste is able using the recycling waste to the recycler energy plants. So EPR is strengthening the circular economy models already. Then you also see there is a big market for the secondary materials now, because of because now we have the high quality recycling content already available, so which reduces our dependence on the virgin materials, again coming closing the loop for the circular economy. So I think EPR, very EPR is strengthening the business models, which encompasses the developing the circular economy based business models. You
Okay,
see
thank
there
you.
is this there's more take back systems in place. There is more you know, product as a service model. So in India we don't have that culture as yet, but if you see in the West, their products on lease. So like on lease they still use, like the lighting is on lease, the mattresses are on lease. So this rent and lease models are, I think, going to be the futuristic scenario even in India, which definitely contributes to the circular economy. When there is less of waste generation, we will have the more sustainable future.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So another question from Ritu, and she is asking EPR credit is annually as per financial year, but if the company has reporting period from Jan to December, how to disclose the EPR credit in BRSR reporting? Can it be disclosed as not authorized from CPCB if we want to report from Jan to December?
See, as far as your annual returns filing is concerned, you have to do it from April to March.
March.
That is the cycle which is required for your returns filing perspective, because return filing is done as by June 30th, but the date is extended this year. But this cycle has to be definitely followed. There cannot be a deviation as far as returns filing is concerned. For your BRSR reporting, companies can also choose to voluntarily take up a time frame, and all like other scorings like their ESG score and other scores, other sustainability indicators are measured on an annual basis. You could even report these on annual basis, like the financial, the the calendar year basis. That can be done for the reporting purpose. But for your returns filing for the CPCB's mandate, you have to do it in the financial year mode only.
So another question from Sukanya, and she is asking if anyone is not complying with EPR regulation, then what are the consequences?
So the first consequence is that there is a environmental, there will be a penalty charge. That is the first consequence if we go by the rules. And you will be charged a penalty for that. Also the pricing is mentioned in the regulation,
Yes.
that it is 5,000 rupees per ton. So whatever is your mandate credit quantity, you have to pay. But it's not that you can just keep paying and you'll get away with that. You can pay a penalty for an year, and then post that there will be a show cause notice, and post that there could be a notice for the closure of the unit as well. So it is serious.
So, what
So
are the
these are the
things?
consequences. But talking on a broader front, I think this becomes very pertinent, because all the stakeholders today are looking for these things. So your investors would look for how compliant a company in with respect to all sustainability goals. I'm saying EPR is one of the ESG initiative, but it is pertinent because then it is also about a company's credibility, responsibility. So that ways it is important to comply. And
And what?
now that the government is also giving a lot of relaxation, like the date is being extended and extended, and they now, because there was a shortage of recycling credit, they've also given a provision where you can meet it through the end of life credits, 1.5 times of the EUL credits. So I think because we are in an evolving phase of EPR, so government is also quite flexible in terms of doing it. So yes, but if you see the latest notification on non-compliance, I've just recently heard from the CPCB officials that 50% of the PIBOs have not yet filed the returns, and 75% of the PWPs have not filed returns. And I saw that in the notification, 28,000 PIBOs and 8,000 PWPs are yet to file the returns. So government is accommodative on that, but yes, sooner or later we all have to comply.
So another question, but has CPCB charged any penalties?
I am not sure if the penalties have already been charged, but they have given a list of the defaulters with the company's name and the amount that would be levied. But if it is actually taken or collected, I am not very sure on that. But I don't think they have been charged. They have just been given a notice on that. They've received the notice that this is going to be your penalty, but I think it hasn't been collected as yet.
So yes, CPCB has charged penalty and they have to taken the credit and offset the penalties. But
Yes, yes.
yeah.
And even if you pay the penalty as per the regulation, even if you pay the penalty, and in the subsequent year, if you meet your entire credit requirement, then 75% of it will be returned back. If you meet it in the second year, 50% will be returned. If you meet it in the third year, 25% will be returned, and after that, nothing will be returned, and it could be a closure for the operations. But this is how the rules have done it, that this amount is taken in an escrow account where it will be kept, and this is how it is going to be dispersed.
So ma'am, what are the things that brands should keep in mind during CPCB audit?
The
To avoid any
CPCB,
kind of mistake.
so CPCB would audit, you mean the PWP's audits?
Yes,
When
yes.
CPCB audits the plastic waste processing facility, so what they should be keeping in mind?
Yes, even ma'am, CPCB can audit brands as well if they are giving the incorrect data on the portal.
Yes, so
It may
one
also
most
help.
important thing is to be vigilant about the fake processing certificates. So, fake processing certificates is one problem that is mostly encountered problem. So, because the credits are sometimes generated for the waste which is never recycled only. Then there another issue is that whatever is the installed capacity, the credit generation is much more than that. So this is another red flag. So these are certain pointers which have to be, which brands have to be very, very vigilant about. Then first point is about the fake certificates. Second, I would say about the generation in line with the capacity, installed capacity and the permitted capacity. Third would be the missing traceability documents, because so there has to be a system, organization has to have a system in place to capture the entire traceability and have a digital system to do that. And it is always nice if they are engaging with the partner who at their end also has a digital system of keeping all the traceability documents. So traceability documents is a must, and with the kind of humongous task it is, digital inventory, a digital repository will only be a way to ensure that. And then we must have, strong internal compliance controls that organization has to develop. So weak compliance controls will lead to eventual disasters. So it's better to have SOPs in place, a team in place, and who has a strong internal compliance model.
So, ma'am, as we have earlier seen in the past, what happened generation of the fake credits. Then, in that case, if any brand has already taken those credits, then who will be the responsible? Recycler will be penalized, or the brand as well?
No, so there is absolutely no penalization for the brand, which is one good thing about this entire system when it has become digital. And earlier, when we did not have this digitized platform for EPR, the onus was entirely on the PIBU to find a partner, to ensure they are credible, and if there's something goes wrong, it is their accountability. But now, because if you are engaging with a partner who is registered on the CPCB portal, this actually entitles in a way that CPCB has done a thorough check. It has crossed all the stages of validation by the State Pollution Control Board, Central Pollution Control Board, whatever required, then only a service provider is able to be registered on the portal. And when you are buying the credits from that particular partner, it is the onus of CPCB. So even if something goes wrong, brand owner will not face any problem. The entire onus will be of the recycler or the plastic waste processor. So which in a way is a very positive thing for the PIBOs.
Okay.
But as a responsible thing, they can still have their checks in place, because the organization would also want to engage with somebody, a partner who is very, very credible.
So, ma'am, there are some brands that those demand for the state is specific credit. So
Yes.
government is asking for that, or they have their own checklist and they are asking for the state specific.
Yes. So if you go by the rules as such, now government has made it geography neutral scenario. So earlier, when the CPC, when this EPR draft rules had come, EPR rules had come in November 22. When the draft had come, if you would see, everywhere they had written geography specific, state wise, union territory wise, state wise, union territory wise. So this was the way. And then when the final rules had come, the state union territory wise, this term was eliminated completely. And then in also in a notification called addressal of difficulties, removal of difficulties, they have clearly mentioned stating that EPR is geography neutral. So for now, EPR is geography neutral by law, by rule, and whatever is the total mandate for a company, they can take credits. I mean, they can take credits for the waste collected in any geography of the country. So this is as per the rules. But from the practical experience, a lot of PIBOs, what they have faced, where a particular brand has its manufacturing facility, a plant. For example, just randomly, if we say any FMCG brand, for example, Unilever, if they have a manufacturing facility in the state of, say, Karnataka or in the state of Uttar Pradesh, many of the times the state pollution control board would ask the company to do EPR in that particular state, because they are manufacturing there, their product is being sold in that state. So sometimes they insist, and because of this requirement, many companies define their EPR strategy in a way that, where they will ensure that they would at least do get collection done from all the states where they have manufacturing facilities, plus all the states where they have their major share of sale. So this is how the companies are making their EPR strategies. Some companies from the beginning are voluntarily making it geography specific. So wherever they are selling in all the geographies, depending on their sale quantity, they make their EPR strategy accordingly. So, but this is absolutely voluntary.
Okay, got it. So let's take the question from audience. So if they have any questions,
Or if someone would like to add more value to this
yes,
discussion, what we have recently shared, if someone wants to share a new
add.
insight, will be, it will help us
We
all.
will yes, we will get to
Yeah.
learn something.
Ma'am, we are not registered in EPR. Can
Okay.
we give our waste to our recyclers? Or what is the minimum quantity waste producers to register as a registered in a EPR? Is there any minimum quantity
So
producing
you're
it?
from which industry? What is your, what
Yeah,
are you making?
we are the biostimulant manufacturers. I'm
Okay.
from Aqua Agri Processing Private Limited. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we are adding some of the micronutrients in our biostimulants.
Okay.
Micronutrients are in 50 kg PP bags.
Okay.
50 kg PP bags, but we are not the producers of PP bags. We are the users of the packages. But
Mm-hmm.
after using our micronutrients, the bags are we have to dispose our bags. but we have not
Yes.
registered in a EPR.
Okay.
Is there any
So,
necessity to register in EPR?
okay, I did. So you are not selling your product in PP bags, right? You are just
No.
buying your raw material in the PP bags.
Yes. We are not selling the bag. We are selling it in a PP bags. We are making it as in a small bottle, 1 liter bottle, and we are selling it. Our products and selling it as 1 liter bottle.
PET bottle.
PET bottles, yes.
So that would also come under EPR framework, right? Rigid plastic.
Yes, okay.
See, EPR is required for both pre-consumer and post-consumer waste. So post-consumer waste means whatever I'm selling, whatever a company is selling their product in any kind of plastic packaging, that will become post-consumer waste. Now, if I'm buying my raw material in any kind of plastic packaging, that becomes my pre-consumer waste. So we are obligated for both pre-consumer and post-consumer. So may I know why your company is not registered as yet?
Yes, ma'am, not yet registered.
Not yet registered, but I think you need to be registered on the EPR portal because you are selling your final product in the
PET
PET
bottles.
bottles, right? Packaging.
Okay.
Your packaging is plastic. If your
Yes.
packaging is plastic, you fall under the purview of EPR plastic framework. So you can get registered, and whenever you register your company, the obligation begins post 1 year of your registration.
Okay, ma'am, fine.
So you can
And
get registered,
Satisha,
and
may I
when you
know what?
register, you will be required to put the data of the pre-consumer waste, where you will put all the details of what you are buying the plastic packaging. But there is one more thing: if you are buying your plastic packaging in which you are packing the micronutrients, if you are buying this from the producers who are also registered on the CPCB EPR portal, and then if this quantum is already captured in their obligation, this will not become your obligation, and this the system will automatically verify because by the GST numbers that you would put. So when you enter the details of your purchase, you will put the invoices, you will put the GST numbers, and it will match. And if it is a registered producer of PP packaging, then that will go into their obligation. That could go in their obligation as well. So there is a system in place on the website where it will be matched.
Okay, ma'am. My question is whether if you are producing 10 kg of material also, we have to register in a EPR.
No. So
Is
there
there
is
any
some.
minimum quantity?
Yes. So small generators don't have to register. There is a cap on that. So you please check the regulation on that. Right, Aman? So there is
Yes, sir.
MSME also are not under this framework
Yes,
of
yes.
EPR. So if you are producing small quantity, then you don't fall under this purview.
So, Satish sir, what is your MSME category? If you are falling any brand owners falling under the category of micro and small, then they are exempted from the EPR.
Micro
We
and
are
small
for,
are
Yeah.
exempted from
we
EPR.
are under micro.
It would be exempted from the EPR.
Then
And
you are exempted, but for your
for
waste, but just
produce
a suggestion that if you are using the PP
plastic.
packaging, which is discarded after you utilize the raw material, you can always voluntarily sell it to recyclers. I mean, that is you can monetize that as well. You can sell it to authorized recyclers while they will make it into granules and again use it. So you can contribute to the circular economy that way. You can sell that.
Okay, ma'am. For selling, we don't need any license for that one.
No,
For
you should also always ensure that you sell it to the registered recycler who are registered on the portal. So, authorized recyclers, you can sell it. That will also enhance your ESG score. So, that will also add value to your
Your
sustainability roadmap. It will
okay,
directly link to your scope 3 for your ESG score.
okay, thank you.
So there is another question, ma'am. If they have obtained EPR registration while importing electronics only for internal use, after achieving the present obligation, do they still need to comply with EPR obligation or can they stop?
They are complying to which obligation?
Uh, they are importing electronic only for the internal use. After
But
achieving,
electronics, this is with respect
so
to electronic
yes,
EPR.
but packaging is coming with the product, right? Here, if you can switch on your mic, then you can ask.
So is it pertaining to plastic EPR or e-waste?
No, he's saying that they are importing the electronic goods and packaging is coming with that. And they have fulfilled EPR obligation for the current year. Now they have to stop or not?
Now they have to e-waste. So this is for the
Or
e-waste.
e-waste.
So if they have already complied to their obligation for this year, then they are sorted. What is the issue?
And Gair, if you are importing for your internal use, then you don't need to do EPR. Okay, if you are importing and selling it to the market and introducing into the market, then you have to take the EPR.
Yes. So for e-waste, you are not
don't need to take
obligated. For internal use, if you are importing and utilizing, you are not obligated.
So any other question from anybody?
So I think no more questions.
No more questions.
I hope this could be of some value to all of us. Thank you so much for being part of this session. And I can put my contact details in the chat if anyone has a requirement or would want to interact, you can reach out.
And thank you, ma'am, for joining the session.
Thank you, Aman. Thank you, Anjali, for having me here. It was pleasure for me as well.
And thank you to participants for their questions and engagement.
Thank you everyone for joining. I think we are at the end of our time. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone.